Very good afternoon and welcome to Racing International, where we've got a nice short haircut and hopefully we can find a couple of short price winners and a couple of outsiders today. Racing's a little bit up and down at the moment. We find a few and then it gets a bit tough there for a while. But anyway, let's see how we go. Racing at Scottsville. We've got 8 races on the card and we're racing on the inside track. Now, normally on the inside track, the inside draws, that's where they normally come from. And when you go around the turn, you've got plenty of time and you run up a bit of a hill there, catches a few horses out, but certainly inside to middle draws are preferred, except up the straight, inside draws are the best place to be. All right, let's have a look at the first on the card today, over the 1,600 metres, maiden juvenile plate for the 2-year-old fillies. And let's have a look. Now, I'm going to make a bit of comment before I start here. A few of the trainers said a lot of these horses are going to love this trip today. They've been running over shorter and they're going to love the extra 16. So we're going to try and filter them out. Now, we got a comment from the Dennis Dreyer stable and he said number 9, the High Life, Sean Veal, priced up at 6 to 1, will definitely enjoy the extra and expecting a much better run. Wasn't a bad debut and only finishing 6 lengths behind when running into 5th. Now, that was after missing the start, running green, and there's already been a winner out of that form line from 3 runners. Second place is, and this will have a few supporters in the market, it's quite firm at the moment at 17 to 10. Talking about number 6 Pep Squad from the Fanfieran stable, another one trying a little bit further. It's had a couple of gallops over the 1,000 and then tried the 1,200 last time and actually ran on well, was giving him 6 lengths at the 400 and only went down 2 1/4. Top jockey Anton Marcus jumps aboard. Also number 7, a Royal Rose, Carl Zechner. Now this could be another one to keep an eye on. They tried it over the 16 last time. They took it straight to the front and tried to make every post a winner. Only got caught late, was only beaten 2 1/2, but has already tried this trip once before. All right, I've thrown in the 4 as well. If you're looking for one more, Brandon Arena at 9 to 1. Now, its first 2 runs was well beaten, but there's been winners out of those form lines, and it was slow away on both occasions. Last time out was a much better run over the 1,400 metres, showed a bit of speed, was up the handy and stayed on well enough to be only beaten 2 1/4 when running into 3rd. Race 2 on the card is a juvenile plate and it's over the 1,000 metre straight. All right, number 7's where we're going here. Moon Shadow, the Australian bred. This is a 2-year-old son of Pluck. I see there was one sold earlier in the year in January in South Africa as well. This one will go pretty close here. Promising debut. Was only went down a length and a half when running into 2nd. But I suppose the only concern here, well, it's not concerned with the jockey, Anthony Del Pesh, but it is drawn out a bit wide in barrier 11. All right, we've thrown in a few others here and a few first timers and Yankee Doodle Dandy from the Charlie Laird stable, Anton Marcus. Now, Anton Marcus jumps aboard, always finds support. 33 to 10, so not too sure about that price. Nicely bred individual, certainly got to be considered. All right, number 4 I've thrown in as well, which is another first timer with Bernard Fate Herd aboard. This is from the Neil Bruss stable and another one who's firm in the market, well, firmish at 13 to 2. Also popped in number 9, another Australian bred horse, Charlie Laird jumps aboard. Charlie Laird is a trainer, I apologise. Alec Forbes jumps aboard, drawn down nicely in barrier 1. No money for this one at the moment, but nicely bred individual. Keep an eye on it. Your market's going to be the best guide in this race. Race 3 on the card is a juvenile plate, and this one's over the 1,000 metre straight. All right, it's for the fillies and number 16. Now, we actually sat down this morning, all the crew, they wanted to get involved. They said, we've been following the horses, and this is what we like. Now, Querbis, who's now producer, he said, you've got to tell them I've been following this horse. It was a cracking debut, and he's talking about number 16, Vine Street Star. Anton Marcus jumps aboard. It is drawn a bit wide, though, Querbis. I did tell him that in barrier 13, but it's found the betting support now into 15 to 20. Are there dangers? Well, I certainly think so. Number 8, Phantom Rock. I think it'll be much better over this trip. They tried it over the 14 last time, didn't enjoy that. And coming back to this trip, Dennis Dreyer said, will be much better suited here. And it's a fair old price, this one, at 14 to 1. All right, number 14, Strike Bat from the Dougie Campbell stable. I must say, his stable's having a good time at the moment. This one wasn't fancied on debut and it went off at 71, open 20s, went out to 70s. And I thought it actually ran a decent race. Showed plenty of gate speed, up the handy and just faded out to be beaten 3 1/2 lengths. All right, number 15, Trippy's Girl, well-bred individual. You've got to watch out for Glenn Cotson. When he brings him up from Cape Town, he's certainly not bringing him up for a haircut. Stewie Randolph jumps aboard, but another one, unfortunately, may be drawn on the wrong side of the track in barrier 14. Here we go, race 4 on the card. It's a maiden plate and we're travelling over the 1,200 metres straight. All right, number 15 could be the right one here. And an open-looking race to me, and that's we're going with a fellow traveller. 28 to 10, firm in the market, cost 700,000 at the sales. So beautifully bred individual. And Pathfork, well, he's his freshman sire season, and he's certainly producing. We've shown a few winners. Having a look at those stats this morning. All right, if you're looking for another one for our second place, we're going with a horse that's had a gallop under the belt. That's number 14, Captain at Sea, from the Gavin Finn Sales stable. Warren Kennedy jumps aboard, priced up at 33 to 10. Wasn't a bad debut and drifting in the market alarmingly when it went out from 33 to 10 out to 7 to 1. But it wasn't a bad gallop, should improve with that run under the belt. All right, number 12 is another one for your trifectas. Chicago Beat. This one cost R1 million, and this one's beautifully bred. It's a son of Silvana, and gee, they've been throwing them. Duncan House Stable's in good form, and so is the jockey on board, Muzieni, currently priced up at 5 to 1. I'm looking for one more, and it become very open. I've got to be honest, I could have picked 4 or 5 horses to run in the top 4, but I've gone with the 5 from the Com Naidu stable, Carl Zechner at 8 to 1. Now, it had a bit of an in and out sort of horse. It had ran 2 shockers, and then last time certainly showed good improvement when they brought it back to the shorter trip over the 1,200 metres. Showed pace, so I'm going to throw it in there as a bit of value at 8 to 1. Race 5 on the card is a maiden plate for the fillies and the mares. 1,200 metres, that's where we're travelling back up the straight again. And number 14's where we're leaning here. Night at the Proms can improve further. There's a comment from Duncan Howes. Muzieni jumps aboard. Now firm in the market. Note that 22 to 10. It's had 2 runs under the belt. Coming along the right way. Was a beaten favourite last time when going off at 14 to 10. Always handy. Was always up there on the pace. Just didn't quite kick on. But with the 2 runs now, I think it could go pretty close here. Now, here's a nicely bred individual from the powerful Jeff Woodruff stable, number 16, Warm Knight Ellis. Anton Marcus jumps aboard. Odds-on favourite here. Well, around about, let's call it even money. It's close enough to it. So there's big money for this. Keep an eye on this one. It is drawn on the outside in barrier 11. Number 1, Power Horse, Alec Forbes, 11 to 2. Now, it is drawn nicely on the inside in barrier 3. Now, we're not favourite last time. A little disappointing, I must say. Was that certainly up there nicely on the pace. Had every chance in the race and didn't quite go on with it. So, a little bit concerned about that. But lightly raced horse could improve further. Number 13 could be another one. You're looking at it. And you want to pop this one in as well. And it's only had a couple of runs from the Paul Lafferty stable. And here's the comment from Paul Lafferty. He said, it's got problems, has loads of ability. He's just hoping they've sorted their problems out, is coming off a break of 185 days. So I'm going to throw it in there. It's got the claim of 4 kilos off the back. Here we go, race 6 on the card. It's an allowance plate. Travelling over 1,400 metres here. And it draws helping a bit here, but I've gone one drawn a little bit wide in barrier 9. It's from the Gavin Finn Sales stable. I thought it was very unlucky 2 starts ago behind a pretty smart horse, Mumbo Mine. So I'm going to stick with it, even though it's drawn out wide. It only went down just over half a length on that occasion. That was first run back for rest. It's had another gallop on its belt. Should be ready to show its best today. All right, number 1, Heartland. This is Anthony Del Pesce, and firm in the market now. Is now your current favourite at 18 to 10. Now, it's only had 1 run back from the geldings so far. Wasn't a bad effort. Was up there. Needed that run. There's no doubt about it. Second run after rest. I'm always a bit wary. Also drawn next to the one I've selected in barrier 8. I thought number 6, Purple Mountains. Well, it's having its first run for the stable. It's being gelded as well. Please note that it's being gelded. It brings up the Cape Town form. Now, here's the comment from the Garth Puller stable. It's working extremely well. So watch out for that. First run back after the gelding, but it has been 120 days in between races. Thought number 8, Lineker, another Australian bred horse. Carl Zechner jumps aboard. Now, it's certainly drawn well in barrier 2, but another horse, second run back after rest. Been running against some very smart horses. So coming back to this company with a light galloping weight of only 54 kilos. Race 7 on the card is a merit rated 84 handicap. 1750 is where we're going here. And Aspara, I like a bit of this one. Anthony Del Pesh, drawn in barrier 8, third run back from a gelding. And it's also dropped down on the ratings. If you go back to October last year, it was rated as high as a 91 and now has dropped down to an 84. So I think it's getting pretty close where it can win a race like this. And I'm hoping we get around about 3-1. Number 3, Old Gunner from the Paul Lafferty stable. He said he's expecting a good run today. You know, had a nice run if you go back in a merit rated a 90 handicap going back 3 starts ago. Only finished 2 3/4 behind, drops down to an 84 handicap here and certainly has to be respected. Number 1, Night Shadow, Warren Kennedy. Now drawn out a bit wide, but they've got plenty of time down the back straight to find a decent position in barrier 9. It's had 3 runs back from a spell. That run that it had 2 starts ago over the 1750, the course and distance, was a decent effort when only going down quarter of a length. But in between it has a couple of funny runs here and there, so I think it's worth putting in, should be competitive here. Number 7, New Hampshire. Now it is jumping up in class here. Now won its maiden and then has had 2 good runs straight out the maiden. Ran in a merit rated 70 last time and actually stayed on well to be only beaten a length and a half. But it is jumping up in class here, gets a claim off the back and gets a nice draw in barrier 3. Here we go, the lucky last on the card. It's over the 2,400 metres. Merit rated 74 handicap, and number 12 is the one we're liking here, Banner Hill, Carl Zechner. Here's a bit of each way value for you at 10-1. Cracks a nice draw in barrier 3. Just going through its form, it's never been over this sort of trip before, but here's the comment from the stable, Glenn Cotson, and he's having a terrific run down in KZ at the moment. He said he'll have no problem with the trip today, and he's certainly been crying out for it. So there you go, a lot of confidence coming from the stable. It's only had 1 run out the maidens, and it wasn't too bad an effort in much stronger company. All right, are there dangers? Well, I think it is an open race, and we're going over this sort of ground. Number 10, Wealthy. Let's hope it might, if you like it. Puts a few bob in your pocket. Certainly was a good run out the maidens last time. Nice effort that there. It actually finished in front of Banner Hill, but I was just quite keen with Glenn Cotson saying that he's crying out for this distance. So those two could fight it out. All right, trifectas in the last race. We normally go from over here in South Africa. Number 6, Forbidden Jewel, 33-10. Muzieni jumps aboard. Nice draw. 1-2 in a row. It's only a lightly raced horse. Had 5 starts and had 2 wins. And then after those 2 wins, they put it in a merit rated 80 handicap last time and certainly wasn't disgraced there over the course and distance, running an absolute cracker there, only going down a length and 3/4. So this is certainly a horse on the up. Well, our boss owns this one, number 1 in 8 quality. We don't put it in, he fires us, so recommending popping it in. Has had 59 days between runs, drawn a bit wide in barrier 13, but gets a good jockey aboard, Brandon Lorena. There we go, looks a nice competitive card down. There's a couple of short prize favourites, which I've actually browsed. I hope I'm right there. We've gone with rather a bit of each way value. We're going to be putting up all our selections at our Twitter account at Racing in Tips. From myself, Rob McCurdy, and all the team, we wish you a very successful punting afternoon.